Hi guys, this is Chloe from Chlo's Craft Closet. Today I'm bringing you a video on a double Z fold card that I made. This is using the new Santa's Sleigh stamp sets and matching framelits. As you can see, the double folds are really popular at the moment. And as soon as I saw this stamp set, I knew that I absolutely had to make a double Z fold with it. My double Z's a little bit different because I actually had this brilliant idea of making the band of the Z actually out of acetate. So it actually looks like the reindeers are floating, which I think makes all the difference to the card. It really makes it magical. Same as all the other Z folds, it still closes up and fits in a normal size envelope. And so it would go as normal post, which is great. Okay, I'm going to get back down to business and we'll start to discuss how to make it. I'll just put him over here. Okay, so first off, guys, you're going to need a piece of Night of Navy cardstock. And the measurements for the Night of Navy is 11 by 4. Oh, move my little thing. And then you're going to get a piece of Whisper White or Shimmery White. Either works just as well. And the Shimmery White is just... or the Whisper White is just 1/8 smaller. So this one would be 10 7/8 by 3 7/8. Now I will have these measurements up on my blog, which is closecraftcloset.blogspot.com. So you can go there later and get all the actual measurements for the cardstock. Okay, so once we've got our cards all cut down to size, what we're actually going to do is score our Night of Navy. Now, I actually use our trimmer to score. I find that it's just fantastic. Isn't this a great tool? Not only does it cut beautifully, but it scores perfectly too. So the light grey is your scoring one compared to your dark grey being your trimming one. I actually have 3 blades on mine. This bottom one is an old blunt blade, but I use it for cutting my glimmer. So I actually keep it, I don't know if you can see if I move it all the way down, I actually keep it all the way down to the bottom here, so it sits right at the end. It doesn't get in the way of me cutting all the rest of my cardstock, but when I need to cut my glimmer paper, I cut from the bottom. Here's my measurements. I score, I measure from the bottom and I cut with my little glimmer blade. So it means that I have all 3 on here and I don't have to keep swapping blades in and out. So just a little tip for you all. So I'm going to move both my cutting blades to the bottom because I don't want to accidentally chop into my Night of Navy. And we are actually just going to score at 2 3/4. So quick up and down, and then again at 5 1/2. Okay, and so now that gives you your score lines for your cards. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our little valleys. So this one goes in. And then this one goes out. And there you have our beautiful Z fold. The first one of 2. I'm just going to get my little bone folder to make sure that my creases are beautiful and tight. And that's it. There we have it. Okay. So we can now move that to one side. And now we're going to take on with our sponging for our actual night sky, our background. Now the colours that I've used today, I'm starting from lightest up to darkest. We've got soft sky. We'll be using Marina Mist. I have a little bit of Dapper Denim. And then of course, finally, my favourite blue of them all, Night of Navy. So we're actually going to use the big circle sponges. I actually cut them into little quarters, or actually 8ths, because I tend to get 8 out of one big circle. And I go through these like I eat them. I don't wash them. I don't keep them. I literally use them and then I chuck them, which is probably really wasteful. But, I keep a lot of other stuff. Some things I just can't be bothered to have hanging around. So we're going to start with our soft sky. So we'll move these ones out the way. And what we're going to do is we're just going to sponge the first, probably almost a half of the cardstock in our lightest colour. So I have just re-inked my soft sky because he does tend to be, do you find the lightest colours tend to get used up the most? I don't know, they're just as inky as all the other colours, but for some reason I think maybe I just use the lighter colours more. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a swirling motion on the bottom, like I said, bottom half of the cardstock. We would go all the way along, getting a nice even colour. All the way, all the way, all the way. And we would go all the way along there. But just for the ease and for the sake of time, I'm going to move on to our next colour, which is beautiful Marina Mist. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing again. But now this time, instead of going straight on the paper like I did with the lighter colour, I actually tend to dab off and then go on. So I sponge, dab off, and then go again. And what I'm trying to do is I'm just getting above the blue line and sort of in the middle. So I'm just getting across, I suppose, what would be the horizon. So yet again, dab in the ink, sponge off, and go across. Dab, sponge, go across. Okay, so trying to leave the two colours slightly separate, but blending in just the top of it. Okay, now for the next colour. So we're going to swap out Marina Mist, and we're going to get our Dapper Denim. Okay, so here's Dapper Denim. I'm just trying to find which sponge is that one. This is one of our new in colours, and oh my god, aren't the new in colours beautiful? I just absolutely love them. So this is extremely juicy. So I tend to find that I dab a little bit and I dab off a fair bit over onto my scrap before I start my sponging. And yet again, nice little circles. So dab, dab, dab off, and nice light circles. You can always go darker. You can always add more. But at the moment in time, we just want a little bit of darker colour. So yet again, same as what I did with the Marina Mist, we're going to start along the line that they both meet at and then fill in the top bit as well. So sponge, sponge all the way along. And obviously when you come to make this, you will do the whole strip, but just for the sake of ease, I'm literally just going to show you really quickly the best way to do your sponging. Now, if you get some dark spots and dark patches, that's okay, because what we're going to do is we're going to blend it all in. We're going to keep blending until we have a shade that we like. Okay, I think that's enough for Dapper. So away he goes. And last but not least of our four colours is good old Night of Navy. So we're going to get a lot of him, and we're just going to do the very top to start with. Just the very top colour all the way across. Across, 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 across we go. Fantastic. Okay, now that we've got our four shades, this is when we start our blending. So we've got it all in there, and now we're just going to start blending them into each other. So as you can see, I'm just stretching my Night of Navy line a little bit further down now. A little bit further. So the majority of the ink is going to be along the top, but I'm just going to sponge it down because I want to tie in the Night of Navy with the Dapper all the way across. And then what you can do is when you've got very little ink, so most of it's come off up here, just start to blend it down all the way across. All the way across. Okay. And then we're going to go back through with our other colours again. So the Marina Mist and Dapper Denim line, I'm actually going to cover with Marina Mist. So I'm going to get some of that ink off, and I'm just going to go over those few lines just so you don't have such, because we don't want them so defined, I suppose is the word. We just want them to have that sort of darkening effect, that nighttime darkening effect. And I'm just going all over now, because obviously we can go, the lighter colour can go over the darker colours easier than, you know, the darker colours going over the lighter colours. So you can see it's all starting to blend in more. You're starting to lose those defined lines. And we're starting to really get that night sky effect. And now I'm going to do the same again. So with the soft sky and the marina mist, I'm going to use the lighter shade for that one again. So I'm going to use the soft sky for that one. So we're going to go all over those two. Blending, blending, blending. All the way across. And you can take as long as you want to get these colours together, to get them as light or as dark as you want. You know, maybe you want more night of navy, you want a bit of a darker sky, you can do that. But you just keep going until you have the shade that you'd like. Okay, so that's basically that. If I wasn't doing a video and had more time, I might bring my darker shade down a little bit more. On this one, you see I've got a lot more night of navy, but if I put the two together, you can see that my lines are not far off where they were originally. Yeah. Okay, so as they say in the movies, here's one I did earlier. And as you can see, I've brought that night of navy down a lot further on this one. And it's exactly the same technique as I just showed you, but I just kept adding my layers until I had exactly what I wanted. Okay, so let's move all those out the way before I end up with fingerprints of blue cardstock all over everything. And now what we're going to do is we're going to stamp our trees. Now, I'm actually using for my little cluster of trees, I'll just bring it back in again here. That's actually a stamp from Thoughtful Branches. Now, Thoughtful Branches is still available, so it's only while stocks last, guys. So make sure you get hold of it now, because I would hate for you to want to make this card, need these trees, and don't have the stamp set. So make sure you go grab it. So I'll grab my Thoughtful Branches. There we go. So this is our Thoughtful Branches set, and this too has matching framelits for some of these trees, which is awesome, isn't it? Oh, who doesn't love a matching framelit? As you can see, mine's been absolutely used to death. So we're going to go with I suppose it's like a fir tree skeleton, and we're going to mount that on our bigger block. And we're going to use archival black for that. I find that's the best thing to do. And also we're going to get a foam mat to stamp on top. Here's my foam mat. I'm just going to put that under here. Like so. Make sure that's over in the right spot. And I'm going to get my archival black, who is currently MIA and missing in action. So we might use good old StazOn instead. Now, I know a lot of people say you can't use StazOn on our photopolymer. That's not true. You can't. Well, it's recommended that you don't use the StazOn cleaner on our... Oh, helps you take the case off, Chloe. Yeah, you can't use the StazOn cleaner on our photopolymer. Though I found that if you're really quick at cleaning it all off, I don't have too much of a problem. Okay, so we've inked him up good and proper. We're going to just stick a few trees over in this corner. Now, if he doesn't stamp properly, see how mine's got a bit missing? Doesn't matter. We're going to stamp a couple of times in the same place, so it gets hidden. I think my stamping is not great today, as it's, you know, got to be important. There we go, another one there. We can ink it up. I have another taller one here this time, and I might do a couple more. We're going to go over this again with Versamark. I might have one there, and I might just do one second one there, and maybe a little one there. Okay, so that's our trees. Now, like I said, because I actually have a piece missing in the middle of my trees, I'm actually just going to get my black marker. Okay, early espresso. Oh, the black marker's over here. Oh, and there's my archival black. Okay, so I'm just going to use my black marker, and this is a really good little tip. All you need to do, if you've got a little bit missing, is just touch it up. So I'm just going to touch up the area that I'm missing, like colouring in really. Just going to be really light with it. This bit here, I'm going to colour this bit in. Here, it's missing a bit, so I'm just going to draw that in. All the way up. And there's another bit here. It seems to be the middle of my stamp that's missing a piece, which is very strange. Maybe it's the way I'm stamping today, I'm not sure. Okay, and there you go. I filled in my trees, you'd be none the wiser. So now what we're going to do, we'll put my markers away. Handy little tip. And we're going to just get our Versamark, and we're going to go over the top with our Versamark and heat emboss it with some iridescent ice. Okay, so there's our Versamark. Now we must remember to give our stamp a clean before we stamp it in our Versamark, otherwise we will end up with big black tree branches. So a quick squirt of my cleaner, and I'm just going to dry him off over here. I'll just check he's nice and, yep, he's all good to go. Okay, so I'm going to Versamark him up. Give him a good covering. And then I'm just going to try to roughly line him up over the top of the other trees. Try not to get my head in the way. You guys can see. Now we've got to be fairly quick because we don't want our Versamark to dry out. If they're not quite in the right place, it just gives them more of a misty, shadowy effect anyway. So, you know, it's not a big deal if we haven't lined them up properly. I mean, you guys, when you come to do it, you've got a bit more time, so you'll probably get a much better job than I will. So now we're going to just, I use the very expensive form of collecting my my embossing powder, good piece of A4 paper, and I'm just going to sprinkle iridescent ice over my trees, and give it a bit of a magic tap. Now, if you've only just inked or sponged, should I say, your piece of cardstock, you will find your Versamark will stick to, your glitter will stick to a little bit while it's just a bit wet still, while it's still drying. So what you might want to do is just make sure you give it a little bit of time before you do this stage. Maybe let this dry a little bit while you do some of the other pieces. But there you go, you can see they're all sparkly now. So I've shaken off the excess, and I'm now just going to heat gun. I'm going to heat gun over to the side so it's not so loud for you all. And all I'm doing is just heating it until the iridescent ice is set, which doesn't take any time at all. Last one. Make sure I get the edges. Okay, and there you go. There they are, all beautiful and sparkly and icy. And if you get a little bit on your paper, it really doesn't matter because look how beautiful that looks. Okay, so we'll now pour our bit of iridescent ice back in its jar. Now, I do understand that iridescent ice Stampin' Up no longer supply, which is a real sad. I was really heartbroken when that retired. However, we still do have our Dazzling Diamonds glitter and our heat and stick powder. So that would work exactly the same way. You would Versamark the trees, pour on your heat and stick powder, and then pour that off. Set that with the heat gun and then pour your Dazzling Diamonds glitter over the top and then set it with the heat gun again so it doesn't come off. And that would be exactly the same effect. So it's just one extra stage really. Okay, so now that we have our trees all done and our embossing done, we're now just going to add a little bit of snow. Now I'm sure everyone has a winter set that has snow somewhere in there. So this one I'm actually using from Holly Jolly Greetings. I'm actually using this little one here, just a little selection of snowdrops. But you could use a white gel pen, would work exactly the same way, and just a few spots here, there and everywhere. So here's my little snow bit. And I'm just going to stick that on a little block over here. And I'm using our Whisper White Craft ink. I love this stuff. You can get a little bit carried away though, it's the only problem. Oh, and I'm just going to remove my foam mat. We don't need that now. So I'm just going to do gentle gentles and we're just going to stamp them in random spots. Turning the stamp every now and then. Now I do get a bit carried away with this, I have to admit. I tend to keep adding snow more and more. Turn your block, remember, so your snow doesn't look like it's in exactly the same spot every time. You could stamp off and add one, or stamp and stamp if you wanted to add some lighter ones. Ups and downs. As little or as much as you like, really. Like I said, I tend to just keep going until it's turned into a blizzard, and the reindeer probably couldn't see past their noses. Thank goodness that they've got Rudolph, really, to light the way. See, I told you, look, it's getting heavier. It's obviously the North Pole. Snow's a lot up there. Okay. Alrighty. Few more. See, look, totally carried away. Okay, that's enough, Chloe. And there you go, there's your snow scene. So all you're going to do with that, you're going to let that dry for a little bit, so you don't smudge your white craft. And then we're going to get our good old trusty trimmer. I'm obviously not going to wait for it to dry. And what you're going to do is you're going to want to cut, let me just double check my measurements before I cut this all in the wrong places. You're going to want to cut at 2 5/8. So 2 5/8. And then 5 1/4. No, hang on, that's not right. 2 5/8. 5 1/4 is too big. Okay, let me just double check that measurement there. So 2 5/8. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to cut 2 5/8 again to get my two panels the same. And then this needs to be, just need to take a little bit off this one. So I think it's 5 3/4. So I'm just going to take a little of my trees off actually. There you go. Like I said, I will put the measurements up on my blog. But 2 5/8, 2 5/8, and then this one was 5 3/8. And that gives you your scene. Okay. All right. So now that we have our scene together, we bring back our Night and Navy, and all we're now going to do is we're going to stick our panels in the middle of our folded scenes. Okay. Now a lot of people use Tombow, a lot of people use double-sided tape. I'm a real cheat. I tend to use glue dots. They're super sticky. They literally take, oh, no time at all. And I find one in each corner. Roll, roll, roll. And then I'll just line that up. in the middle. That one's there. The only thing you've got to remember is do not swap these two. Try and remember which way they go. It wouldn't make too much of a difference, but you know, you want to keep that flow, that consistency of colour. And it'd be a real pain if you'd swapped them around and then had one up the wrong way. Way round. Okay, and yet again, find the middle of your card. Stick him down. Oh, that's a bit wonky. Okay, that'll do. And then last one. Stick. 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 Oh, get it the right way up, Chlo. Stick him down. And there you go. There's that. How beautiful is that just on its own? I mean, really? Could just send that, add a sentiment, away it goes. Okay, so that's our main base of our card. And that really is what takes the longest. The sponging, the embossing, all of that, that's really what takes the longest time to do. But there we go, done and dusted. So we'll move this over to one side. Now what we need to do is get our reindeer together. So get out the card again so you can have a look. These are our little reindeer. They are a stamp in the set. And I've used craft with this one. Where's my cardstock? Oh, here we go. So I actually use our craft. It comes in 12 by 12. I just thought it was quite reindeer coloured. Not that I really know what colour reindeers are, but this was the colour I fancied. Here's our reindeer stamp. He's quite well used. He's turning red now. Maybe he's going to turn into Rudolph the Red Reindeer. Using Early Espresso. And you need 6 of these little guys. So 1, I can fit 2 on this piece. 1, 2. And then once we've got that, we are going to get his matching framelit, which is here. Ta-da! And we are just going to run him through the Big Shot and cut out 6 of those. Now, I've actually already done that just to save us a bit of time. So here's 6 that I made earlier. I can get them out. Okay, here's our 6 little reindeers. All exactly the same. And let's just move the card out of the way. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add little bells to their necks. So a lot of people have been tying the bells on. Now I'm far too lazy for that. There's no way I'm going to do that. So I came up with this really cheap, quick trick. So all you do is you turn over your reindeer, turn them all over, get a little bit of tear tape, stick it on his neck. And I do that with all 6 of them. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of our linen thread. I love this stuff. This is awesome. And our new bells. Oh my God, they're so cute. Can you believe you get 60 of these little bells? You get red ones and silver ones. And they do rattle, if you listen. They do rattle. So I chose silver, but I mean, it's up to you what colours you want to put on. So you get your 6 little bells. And I found the easiest way was to thread. I might just trim the edge of that so I've got a nice sharp edge. Thread one of the bells on. So just through. Oh, hang on. Give it a quick pull and hopefully the threads won't shorten. There we go. So he's all threaded on. And then all I do is I take the double-sided tape off them. I stick one side to the double-sided, just like that. I then whip him around, position the bell where I want it to go, so about there, and then stick the other side down. Did you see that? So I'll pull it off and do it again. So I literally position the bell where I want it to go and hold it with my thumb, and then quickly stick round the other side. There you go, see? There's his bell. And then all I do is I just trim off the excess, push it down on the tape to make sure it's really stuck. And there's your little reindeer with his little bell. Awesome. So you just do that 6 times, which, of course, I previously did. So here they all are. Oh, here they all. Hello, guys. Your little bells. Don't they look awesome? Now, you're going to pick one to be Rudolph. Okay, I mean, this is a really serious choice. Who is going to be Rudolph? Who is going to be the leader of the reindeer? So I found the best thing to do was whichever one I liked the best, whoever looked the most regalist, I picked to be Rudolph. And I used my little, I think it's a 1/16 punch, handheld punch. And I just punched out of red glimmer a little circle. There we go. So actually, just make sure it's empty in there. It is, I've already done that. So you just, wrong way around, Chloe. Punch a little circle. Empty it out. There it goes. There's his little nose. See that? His little nose. And I use our super duper fine tip glue pen. Now, if you're having trouble with the glue pen, I tend to find the easiest thing, don't push it down. Whatever you're trying to stick, sequins, buttons, ribbons with the fine tip, just drop whatever it is down onto the glue. And I swear that is so much easier. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. This is Rudolph. You're the chosen one. A little bit of glue on his nose. And then I'm literally just going to drop it into place. And that's it. I'm not going to push it down. I'm not going to do anything more. I've just dropped his little nose into place. Oh, his bell's got him. And that's it. That's Rudolph. And now I'm just going to leave that, and that will dry, and that little baby will not come off. If I push it, for some reason it makes it, I don't know what happens to it. It just isn't sticky and sequins fall off and things. But I find if you just drop them in place, walk away, they're done. So there's our little reindeers. So we'll move them over to one side. I can't pick these little guys up now. Okay, move you over here, little boys, out of way. Move our bells. I'm getting very messy here. In fact, I might flip my piece of paper over because it might be a little bit easier to see with a nice clean piece. Okay, so the background is done. The reindeers are all done. They've got their bells on. It's time to sort out Santa's sleigh. So here's Santa's sleigh. Beautiful. Okay, so you're going to need a piece of gold glimmer and a piece of glimmer cardstock, gold glimmer cardstocks. This is our gold foil, gold glimmer. For those matching dies. Now, isn't this beautiful? So this is your sleigh, and you could just have a gold sleigh and be done with it, which would look fantastic, would spectacular. But this is an intricate die that goes over the top of your sleigh, which I'm going to do in gold glimmer, and it just finishes the card off. So you're going to run those through the Big Shop. Now, I would use the precision plate for these two. It stops this from getting all those little spotty dots in your gold foil, which is very annoying, so it will stop that. But also, I find it makes it easier to pop all these little pieces out of your die, out of your framelit, especially with glimmer paper being that it's thicker, it's harder to go through. So precision plate, run that through, and you will come up with this little number. So there's your sleigh, and there's your glittery. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. I mean, how fantastic. Look how intricate that is. So all I'm going to do is glue dot the two together. And I tend to find with my glue dots, I'll use a Stanley blade. I fold my glue dots. I don't know if you can see this. Is it going to zoom in? I fold my glue dots over to make them, I don't think it's going to, oh, no, maybe. So I fold them over, and I sort of turn them into a glue bogey, to be honest. And I just find a really big piece, a big spot, a big area, and I stick my little glue bogey on it. And I just find a couple more places like that. So only a couple more. So that one over. And I'll stick another one over here on this bit. And then one more for luck. We're always supposed to do everything in odds, aren't we, as crafters? Odd number of flowers, odd number of everything. And I might stick this one just here. So you're just screwing up those glue dots into little glue bogies. That's probably a nicer term than a glue bogey. And then all you're going to do is line them up on top of your sleigh. And there you go. There's your sleigh. He's all finished, ready to go, ready to take the presents. Okay, so now you've got your sleigh. Now you've got your reindeer to pull it. You now need that magic acetate window. So our acetate window is going to be a strip of acetate. Here we go. And it is one, let me check. What size is it? There we go. 1.5 by 10 7/8. So he's 10 7/8 long and 1.5 wide. And then you're just going to score the window sheet, and you're going to score him at 5.5 and then 8.25. And you're going to fold it. And that gives you that Z fold. You see? And then this is when the magic happens. This is when we start sticking all this stuff together. So we bring out our folders. We've got our sleigh. We've got our reindeers. We now come to put it together. So our sleigh is going to sit snug up to the end. You see how that sits up there? And so we know that this is where we want to put our glue dots to stick our acetate down. So we want to put some behind the sleigh and some down here so that you can't see them. So what I found was easy was to stick my sleigh on first using a good couple of glue dots here, there and everywhere. Couple here, couple here, couple here. Like I said, I go through a lot of glue dots in my time. So there you go. Glue dots. And I'm going to sit him on my sleigh. Just like that. Now, I've stuck 2 up here. Look, that's a silly place to have stuck them. I'm just going to take those off. They're just going to stick to the card if not. I'm going to stick that one there. Get rid of that one as well. Okay, pull them off. Okay. So now that I've got that in position, I can then see where I'm going to put my glue dots onto my card base. So I'm going to stick them pretty much in the same place again, but just the other side. So I'm going to stick one there. I'll try and get this on the camera and be able to see what I'm doing. One there. And then I'm just going to line that up to the edge of our card. There you go. So that's stuck there. And then I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to add a few glue dots towards the end of this one here, because the trees are going to hide these ones. Stick one there and one there. And then we're just going to stick that. It lines up to the edge of our card there. There you go. So it lines up here, and there's your card. It lays nice and flat. Okay. Ta-da! All right, so before we add our snowflakes, we've got to add our inside, our secret tree section, which is just here. So we're going to get another piece of window sheet, a little bit bigger this time. Here we go. And we're going to do get our tree back. Here's our tree again. So we're going to do the same thing as what we did really for our background. We're going to use our Stays On, which has vanished. Where are you, Mr. Stays On? Oh, here he is. He's all the way over here. We're going to add our Stays On. And we're just going to do 3 trees. So we're going to do one low, another one lower again. There we go. So there's our 3 trees. We're going to give our tree a quick clean off, and we're going to use our beautiful stamping mist and stamping scrub to clean him up. We're then going to put Stays on away and get our Versamark back out again. Now, to be honest, I probably don't need to Versamark these. I'm guessing it's probably quite sticky already, but I'd hate to get the embossing powder out and try and emboss and it doesn't work. So just for the sake of it, I'm going to add Versamark, and then I'm going to use our Dazzling Diamonds again. Oh, sorry, Iridescent Ice. Now, when you can emboss, a lot of people don't know if you can emboss on window sheets. You just have to be really careful with how long, a bit of a tap, how long you hold the heat gun in the same place. So I'm going to go over here and do it again. Oh, I could show you. It's a little bit loud and noisy, really. But I'd like to be able to show you how to do it. Okay. So you just move your heat gun around like you normally would, but you're just more so than if you were doing it on cardstock. So usually with cardstock you keep it in one place, but when you're doing it with because window sheet, you don't want it to melt. You just want to make sure you do a little bit on, a little bit off, a little bit on, a little bit off, so you don't melt your plastic. And all of a sudden, it's not there yet, but it will suddenly go. There it goes. I think there's a little bit more there. A bit more there. Yeah, done. So it's a bit sticky, so give it a little bit of a dry. And then we're going to cut around our trees pretty roughly. I love to fussy cut. I don't have a problem with fussy cutting, but window sheets are tricky. They slip and slide really easily. So we don't want to get too close in case we accidentally snip something off. And I tend to find move the window sheet, don't move your scissors. Move your window sheet instead of moving your scissors around. And there you go, super quick. Okay, so now we're going to get our final piece of window sheet, which is a long skinny piece. Here it is. Now this is the bit that's going to sit in the middle. This is going to be the piece that sits in the middle to hold our trees up. And this little piece is 1.5 by 4 inches. So 4 inches wide, 1.5 wide. So same width as our main piece. And you can score a little tab, but I tend to find I just give it a little bend. So you want to bend one side. Can you see that? Like an L shape. And then this one you're going to bend the other way. Like I said, you can be all precise and work out your measurements and everything, but I just find a little bend. I'll move all this out the way, the camera might catch it. So see how it's this side and this side? We're going to put glue dots down both sides, and then you're just going to sit that snug in the middle, like that. So let's get our trusty glue dots out. Did I tell you guys you're going to need a lot of glue dots for this project? Probably should have put a warning at the beginning of the video. Maybe I will on my blog. Warning, warning. Must have 8 rolls of glue dots before starting. Alright, so I've got two glue dots on either end. Whoa, and they're super, super, super sticky. And you're just going to slide them down and stick them. Slide them down and stick them in. Like so. You see that? So there's that. Okay. So now you're going to do glue dots on your trees, just on the bottom. 1, 2. And you're just going to slide them in as well. You want them a little bit higher because you're going to have reindeer blocking them. And they're just going to go there. So that's your trees. You see they're sitting in there. And now it's just a matter of adding your reindeer. And all we're going to do to add our reindeer is, you guessed it, glue dots. Oh, I can't pick him up. Pick up, little man. And now you'll see here, twos. I did mine in pairs, 2, 2, 2. I think there's supposed to be 12 reindeer, isn't there? Oh. You could make a bigger Z fold and have, you know, all 12. But I think 6 is just good. All I've done is I've just added some glue dots just to his back. And then I'm just going to line his feet up with the bottom and stick him on. And you'll go through, make sure you leave Rudolph to be at the end, because he's obviously the one that's taken us out. There's another one, slightly overlap. Now I'm going to put his foot just on the edge of the crease, so his knee's hanging out. And again, 1, 2, turn him around. He's going to sit. Oh no, he's gone. There we go. He's going to sit just there, and he's going to hide our join. Oh, move his little bell round. Get reindeer number 4. This might be Dasher or Prancer or, what was it, Vixen as well. Oh no, look. He's already had enough. He's leaving. Don't go. Stay in place. I'll put him there as well. That's it. And then get our last one. Hang on a moment. Oh no, I suddenly thought I had a reindeer missing. One had already flown away. And so we're going to put him just here. And last but not least, good old Rudolph with his red nose. It's going to go in at the end, just like that. There. And there you have Santa and his sleigh. Move his thing round. All ready to go. Beautiful. So the finishing touches, we want to add a moon. So we're going to use some silver foil. And we've got the 1 3/8 punch to punch out. What have I done with that? I'm terrible at losing things. Oh, I put the card on top of him. Yeah, so the 1 3/8 punch. And our silver foil, which is just like our gold. Silver. I can't find my piece that I had ready to go, so I'm just going to chop into a great big bit. There we go, punch him out. And yep, you guessed it, we're going to glue dot that into place. I'm just going to stick that behind the trees just to give a bit of a extra bit of sparkle as he's flying through the night. And now with regards to the presents, obviously got a whole heap of presents. There's a stamp in the set, in the Santa's sleigh. We have 3 different presents here, 1, 2, 3. I just stamped those on a bit of crumb cake with our early espresso again. So yeah, you just stamp however many you require. You know, there's some of this shape, and then we have these 2 as well. And unfortunately, there's no framelit for those, but I'm pretty sure you guys are all clever enough to be able to cut rectangles and squares out. And when I fussy cut anything, I always leave a border. So these are all my presents. And then all I do is I get my sleigh, I get my trusty glue dots, I stick a glue dot on just on the corner, and I just slide them in. Then I get another one, stick it in, and I slide that one in, and so on and so forth until you've filled his sleigh up with parcels. So another one at the back here. You can have however many you fancy. He could be just starting out on his trip. Oh, we need to move that one down a little bit and that one up. Okay. Have I got 2 more? Okay. 1 more there, and I'll do 1 more on the top there. Okay, so there's his parcels. And then one last final thing is we get some more red glimmer that we had left over from Rudolph's nose. We use the little ribbon framelit that's in the set, which is just here. We run him through the big shot. Let me go get, where is the big shot? Here he is. He's probably going to make the table wobble, but that's all right. And we're just going to get, there we go, run him through, strip him on all the way. We might do, what should we get? We might get 2. So there's 1. I'll do 1 more over here. And that's 2. Okay, Mr. Big out the way. And all we're going to do is adhere them to the presents. So I think we might get 1 there. And 1 here. And there you go. There is Santa and his sleigh with his reindeers and Rudolph. Double Z fold card. Thank you so much for bearing with me. I'm sorry it's so long, but it's such a big card that I knew it would take a while. Thanks for watching. Hopefully there'll be a few more videos from me soon. All the measurements for the card will be on my blog, which is closecraftcloset.blogspot.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Chlo's Craft Closet, and I'm on Instagram too. Thanks so much for watching with me, guys. I look forward to seeing your version of Santa's Sleigh Double Z fold card soon. Take care. Have a great day. Bye.